Thank you. All right, guys, I am going to switch this over. Please let me know if you can hear
Hey
this.
everybody, I hope you guys are doing well.
Good?
It's just an honor, a privilege to be here with Santiago and to also be here with Hugo Philion, obviously also with Jenna. And I want to thank her for giving me the opportunity to ask two questions to Hugo. And before I'm going to do that, just real quick, I've been in this space since day one for Flare. I've been there since I've read the first white paper and just ever since that time I've just been with Flare and just seeing what is happening with Flare, seeing the growth, seeing the demand, seeing Hugo Philion also growing throughout the whole process just makes me nothing but proud to see these things unfolding in front of us. So I'm very happy and honored also to be in this position, to be part of the Flare community. So my first question for Hugo Philion is, with the rising demand for Flare obviously being used as collateral for every single F asset, you will have financial institutions ready to earn yield throughout Firelight. You obviously also have retail investors who want to earn yield through Firelight. And then you have exchanges like Uphold who are using Flare's tech to also provide yield. With all of these demand happening for Flare, if it comes to Flare being the collateral for every single F asset, and with that demand driving up for people wanting to earn yield, is that also one of the reasons why the Flare team is releasing 5 billion Flare tokens every single year to keep up with the demand? I just want to know your thoughts around that, with that huge demand coming just only for F assets for XRP. And what are your thoughts actually based on that 5 billion?
So, okay, I'll answer that. So, do I think that there is likely to be high demand for Flare? I mean, uh, that would be my guess. Yes. Can I say more than that without getting myself in trouble? No, I cannot. With regards to the amount that is released, we have two sort of major sources of release of the FLR token. The first is network inflation, which pays effectively for the data and for the network operators. And that is an ever reducing percentage, starting at 5% and reducing each year. So 5 billion to start with, but reducing each year to the point where over the long term, the network inflation will become effectively zero. It will never become zero, but it will get effectively to like 0.01%. So that's the first thing. And we think it makes sense to front load inflation because you're effectively bootstrapping a financial system. People need the token, and people need to be rewarded substantially for participating in an ecosystem early. And that is the same for the other releases of Flare, which is effectively we put aside 20 billion Flare tokens, which is what we call the cross chain pool. And that is our incentive program. And again, it has a programmatic payout. So it cannot be this year, it can't be more than 2 billion, for instance. Can't be more than 2 billion Flare. We can't just take all 20 billion and throw it in the market. But it can be assigned to protocols to give them some incentives to attract capital, to attract TVL. So assigned to DEXs, assigned to lending protocols, assigned to stablecoin protocols, to assign to perps protocols to attract TVL and usage, specifically of assets that come from another chain. So earning earning Flare emissions with Flare, you can do that only by staking or delegating. You cannot earn Flare emissions without a from the cross chain pool without a corresponding cross chain asset. So if you are in a pool that is FXRP versus Flare, like let's say a trading pool or a lending pool, then you may earn on those assets. But that's because there's a cross chain element, which is the FXRP. So we put aside 20 billion tokens. It's very moderate in how it pays out. It pays out over 20 years. It's very likely that we won't need all 20 years, and there'll probably be an announcement proposal at some point to wind it up and burn the remainder. So, but for the time being, it's very important to have incentives, especially as we come to XRPFi, to bootstrap that ecosystem and to become the dominant player for DeFi, for XRP, for Bitcoin, for XLM, and these kind of tokens.
Thank you so much for that response, Hugo. And I hope that that answers your question, King Karan. He was so awesome. He is one of my favorite people to follow in the space and talk to over the years. And he actually got me even more bullish on Flare. So I appreciate him so much. I did let him, he asked me if he could ask you a personal question. I'm like, you know what? Go for it, because
Go, Fred.
let's do it. So we're gonna go ahead with one more.
So my second question for Hugo Philion is, obviously you're a busy man. You're the co-founder of Flare. Flare is part of your life, and it obviously affects your life too because you're doing a lot of things at the same time. You're making things happen. So I'm just very curious how your daily routine looks like. And it can be anything. It can be like waking up at a certain time, working out, or drinking 5 cups of coffee before you start the day. Is there anything that you do that gives you that boost throughout the whole day, that just makes you just continue throughout the day?
Ooh, time for personal things. Okay, a couple of things. I wouldn't say there's any one thing, but I have obsessions. So I got really, really insanely nerdy about espresso not that long ago. I have have like an insane grinder with different burr sets, and I weigh the coffee, and
Wow.
I use a special implement to make sure the coffee is well distributed in the puck, and I know the temperature of the water, and I know the pressure, and I know the pressure profile. Anyway, I got completely nerdy about that. I think I've lost a bit of weight this year, which I'm pleased about. I think exercise has become a major part of my routine. Lifting weights, but not that much. Mostly just doing at least like an hour, hour and a half walking per day. Absolutely wonderful. And then otherwise, I try to play backgammon for about half an hour a day, which just lets my mind relax.
Nice. And there's like an art to that coffee making, to the espresso making. That is so awesome. Now, I bet when you go other places, you're like, no, it's not as good as mine.
I wish I could say that. I'm in Italy at the moment for the summer because it's far too hot in Dubai, and I went to a damn gas station where I had an espresso that was better than the espresso I make, and I was
What?
furious, furious. I'm like, a gas station espresso. Um,
I love
That's
it.
great.
Italians know how to do it. That's just you can't
They
get
do.
with all the tech and all the like measurement. You can't get over it. Can't get over art.